I have my views, and I feel like people should be able to have their views as well, and to have their preferences. And I also think that when women are able to have the option to stay home and it's not necessarily forced, it's so much more appreciated. But also I do want to go back in time and, talk to some of the women who are like, oh, I hate having to just sit at home and take care of kids and animals all day. I want to go out into the workforce and, I want to push major university. Like,
there's actually very few of them, just so you know. The anti-suffrage, when it comes to feminism, the anti-suffragettes far outnumbered the suffragettes. Far and away outnumbered them.
So I guess the real question is, why do you think the men
allowed it?
Voted it in? Because the men were the ones that voted it in.
Because they had people like Rockefeller who were doing this mass funding behind the scenes, and there was occult roots that go all the way back to the early. Basically, Protestantism brought you feminism.
But how do you think they convinced the general male population that
exactly?
It should happen?
Wait, so you don't think we should vote? That's your view?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think women should be able to vote, but I'm not a feminist.
Yeah,
Why? Why do you think they should be able to vote?
Why shouldn't I be able to vote?
Well, that's not my question. That's answering my question with a question.
No,
yeah, but
that is.
Do you think I should have to pay taxes?
I think I should.
Well, so
you're right. Wait. We didn't get to your.
So let's start over.
Millie, we didn't
Should
get
I
to
pay taxes?
Hang on, let's start over.
Should I pay taxes?
Your position is you should be able to vote.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, why should you be able to vote?
Because I'm an American citizen and I pay taxes.
Okay, so let's assume for a second, as you know, most people in America do not pay taxes. Do you think they should be able to vote?
Well, the problem with your reasoning is we have a law that says you can't have taxation without representation.
Yeah, so it doesn't. The law doesn't say that.
If you're a tax-paying American, and that's why they debate this in D.C. all the time.
That's insane.
D.C. residents are paying taxes and they don't have proper representation.
This is, first of all, this is a goalpost move. I'm not going to let you get away with it. We're going to move right back, and then I'm going to address that second point after we move right back and destroy your first point. The first point,
you're not going to destroy anything.
People. Yes, I will. Watch.
No, you won't.
The first point are the first point is. There are people right now who pay no taxes, right?
What about?
Should they be able to vote?
Probably not.
Okay, so you would agree that those people...
They should still be able to vote.
Not arguing with you yet.
Let's do split.
So we should be able...
That is crazy.
So then as we look at this then, we should be able to see that you want for at least some people to not be able to vote, right?
Well, I'm saying that Americans have the right to vote. That's what it says.
Okay, so then I'm asking you an ought, not an is. I'm not asking you what is true. I'm asking you what ought to be true.
Let me ask you a question.
You can ask me a question. You have to answer my question.
Wait. We got taxes.
We missed.
I just want to know why you think we shouldn't be able to vote.
Wait.
Are we that emotional?
Wait.
So anyway,
should women pay taxes?
Calm down. Relax.
You calm down.
One step at a time. Yeah, telling you to calm down is me being emotional.
Yeah, you are. You seem to be getting a little frustrated.
I don't know. You seem to be kind of a dumbass. You want to answer my questions.
Okay.
So an ought from an is.
Ad hominem attacks.
Do you know what an ought and an is? Is claim, is true, ought, should happen. Should everybody be able to vote?
No. Who's everybody? Should Americans be able to vote?
Yes.
I don't think illegal immigrants should be able to vote.
Don't be pedantic. Should all Americans be able to vote?
Are all Americans required to pay taxes?
Yes.
Yes.
But do all Americans pay taxes?
And guess what happens to those who aren't paying taxes? They get in trouble with the IRS.
No, they don't. Most people don't pay anything into the tax system. They're not a net positive tax system.
Well, if they're not making an income, then they don't have to
No, they make an income.
No, if they're not making an income, they don't have to file.
No,
and therefore,
there are people who make more back from
the
government on an earned income child credit than they pay into the government.
Okay, and that's
should those
another
people
issue.
be able to vote?
You're still not convincing me why women should
I'm not
be able
trying
to
to convince you. I'm asking you a question. Should those people be able to vote?
But
should American citizens be able to vote? Yes.
Well, then your argument that just because they pay taxes doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm saying that's one of the reasons
let me
why I
finish,
should
and then
be
I'll
able
let
to
you
vote.
finish.
I
I
pay
promise.
taxes.
Let me finish, and I'll let you
finish.
finish.
And we have a law that says
relax,
we have
lady.
to have
Let me finish my point. I'll let you
representation.
finish your point. So, if that is true, then your original argument of, hey, wait a second, people who pay taxes, because they pay taxes, they should be able to vote. But we've just established many Americans do not pay taxes, and you still think they ought to vote. So your first argument's moot. Now let's move to the second one.
No, it's not moot.
Then explain it to me again.
I have a question.
Explain to me why women should be able to vote. I still haven't heard you explain
Okay,
anything.
I'll get to it. I promise you I'll answer your
because
questions
we have a law
after
in
we
the
go through
United
yours.
States that says we have to have There's a
Laws
law
are
that
changeable.
says no taxation without representation. Are women just as
Can we move past that point?
What
I
law
just want to
says
know
that?
why he
What-
thinks we shouldn't
What
be
law
able to
says?
Wait,
What law says that because you should have representation, okay,
You don't
that
have
means
representation
everybody
if you
should be
can't
able to vote.
If you cannot vote, you do not have representation.
Okay,
They're
voting
arguing
rights-
a legal matter in D.C.
Most people
because
in
DC
American
doesn't have
history
proper
could not vote.
representation and they're paying taxes. So therefore, it's in violation of the law.
No, it's not. Most
Yes, it
men
is.
and women, first of all, voting rights are affirmed in the negative. You know this, right? They're affirmed in the negative. There is no right to vote because you have no right
They're
to
negative
do
rights,
anything.
is what he's saying.
They're negative rights. Negative rights, not positive rights. Meaning you don't have to do any of these things, and they're only affirmed in the negative. States,
you don't have to vote.
States themselves used to always
But
be
you
the
have the
ones
right.
who had jurisdiction over this. Now, when it came to voting itself, and when it comes to voting, even right this second, all the laws say is that if there is a vote, you can't be barred based on X, Y, and Z. Not that there even has
I
to
think
be
you're
one.
actually
Actually used to
avoiding.
need to,
I
like,
think
serve
you're
in the
actually
military
avoiding
to
explaining
vote.
why women shouldn't be able to vote. So,
So-
you tell me, why should women not be able to vote?
Okay, so I'm going to answer, but I want to promise from you that we're going to go right back to this, so that because I'm not going to let you weasel out of it.
I didn't weasel
by
out
an
of
incessant
it.
peppering
I
of questions
answered your question
without answering any.
and you're asking the same
No,
question repetitively.
because
So
I have already shown a
answer my
flaw in your
question.
logic.
There's no flaw in the logic
I'll
there.
explain
I
I'll explain the
explained it
flaw
to you.
again. The flaw is if your argument is people who pay taxes should be able to vote. We've already established there's multiple people who don't pay taxes, so why ought they be able to vote? Your answer is duh.
That's not my answer.
Then what's your answer?
I said that Americans are supposed to be able to vote. They're supposed to have representation. There are tax-paying
Based on law,
women.
right?
Are there women that pay
We're
taxes?
talking about an ought. We're talking about an ought, not
Are
an
there women that
is.
pay taxes?
Yes, of course.
So they should. You're saying they should not be able
My
to vote.
argument is not that taxpayers should be able to vote. That's your argument.
Okay, I'm saying women should be able to vote.
I know, and I'm asking you why.
Other than
I'm
taxation.
saying women have a right to vote because we're American citizens. We're
That
taxpayers.
is true. Why
We're property
ought-
owners.
but-
We have a stake in the interests of the country.
Should only property
we should
be
have
able?
representation.
Okay, so should only property owners be able to vote?
Everyone should be able to vote.
So
what if
we're-
we say
'cause-
that? It's a
'cause
human right
again-
to be able to vote. Then why cannot
the
women
problem-
vote? Stop arguing with her and just tell
the
us why
problem-
you don't think women
No,
should
I'm
vote.
gonna finish my argument over here. So anyway,
Okay.
we have to distinguish an ought from an is. You
and
keep
you
on saying
still
it
are
is true.
refusing to say you're the one who
Yes, I'm gonna
initially
get
came
to
out
it.
and said you think women should not
Yes,
be allowed
that's
to
correct.
vote, and you still haven't even made a sound argument.
Because you gave me your reasoning first. So I'm just going through your line
No,
of reasoning.
We spoke about one thing. I have many reasons why I believe this, and you're honing in
Now,
on
I
one
will
thing.
give you my reasoning, and we can see if there's any flaw in my argumentation. Men are the enforcers of rights. And because they're the enforcers of rights, they deserve to have all the privileges that comes with enforcement. Women are not the enforcement of rights, including for other women. Only men can enforce the rights of women. Therefore, only men should be able to have the stake and the claim to vote. Period.
How can only men enforce the rights? of
Ah,
women?
well, I'm glad that you asked. You have rights, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is a right?
A right is something that basically we've defined out through a Bill of Rights or a Constitution.
Something the government
That's
can't.
it.
Something the government
That's a-
can't do to
that-
you.
It's an entitlement
Right.
absent a duty.
Right.
Is that a right?
Well, what do you mean by absent a duty?
There's no duty with your rights.
We're given. We have God-given inherent rights in America.
Okay.
Right, and that's where we enshrine our rights from, is the rights that God gave us.
So God gave you the right to own a gun?
He gave us the right to self-defense.
Or did he give you a right to own a gun?
He gave us the right to self-defense.
Yeah, I know, but
And
that's
we
not
have
my question. Why do you keep on not answering my question? Did he give you a right to own a gun? Or is
Yes.
that, okay, he did. So that was not, your right to own a gun is not something which can be taken away
Here's
from
the other
you.
thing. You say only men can be enforcers of law. There
Yeah.
are women can
Rights.
actually
No, I
have
didn't
a
say
gun,
laws, I
and
said
they can
rights.
enforce rights. They can protect rights with guns as well, because guns are equalizers.
So let
a
me explain
small
this the best
percentage of
way.
men
Let me explain this the best way I possibly can.
They give
so that you
children guns
understand.
in some
Yeah,
countries
Let me
to
explain
fight
this the best way that I
wars,
possibly
okay?
can.
So women can also
I know, you're just
have
prattling.
guns.
You're just prattling.
It's not prattling.
I thought you wanted the explanation. Do you want me to give it to you or not? So I'll give
Guns
you-
rights are women's
I'll
rights.
give you the explanation instead of your incessant prattle. So here's the actual explanation. Men are the enforcers of rights. Rights don't exist. They don't exist. You can't taste them. You can't touch them. You can't see them. They're a social construction.
No, men did not create the rights. God did.
Okay, he did. What
Yes.
rights did God give you?
God gave me the right to
To-
exist. He gave me free will.
You have a right to exist?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you couldn't just wink out of existence tomorrow?
God created me.
What does that have to do with a right?
I have the right to free will.
You have a
Right.
you have a right to literally nothing except what
Freedom
other
of
people allow
speech.
you to
We
have.
God
All of your
given
rights
inherent
can be
rights. That's what it literally says in our Constitution.
I know what it says, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Oh, so you don't believe in the
I
Constitution?
don't believe that rights are real.
Okay, so you don't believe in the Constitution.
I don't believe that
so
rights
then
are
go
real.
to a different country.
I
then.
didn't say. What does that have to do with anything? Even if
You
I
don't
said,
believe in
okay,
the
I'll go to
Constitution.
another country. Now rights are suddenly real. That makes
So
no
why are you
sense.
even talking about rights if you don't
Because
even
that's
believe in the
the that's
Constitution?
the core of what we're talking about, the right to vote. Last I checked, right?
You don't even care about rights because you don't believe in the Constitution.
I don't believe in rights.
Can I ask you a question?
I believe the
women's rights.
Constitution is real.
Do you think
But that doesn't mean I believe that rights are not a
right
social
to vote?
construction. Our rights is social
So
construction.
how do you think the Constitution
You
is
keep asking me questions, even though I've answered all of them. Are you going to answer one of mine? Are rights a social construction?
I believe in the Constitution.
I know.
That
I believe.
Americans have the right to vote.
I believe. That's not. Are they real or not?
Is
Sir,
what real?
Rights.
Sir, can
or
I?
are they a social construct?
No, I think our rights are God given. See, in
What
the old
right
days-
is God
let me-
given?
Let me
Can
explain
I
something
ask
to you.
a
In the olden
clarifying
days-
question?
Hold on, really quick. Let me explain something to you.
Okay, explain it.
Where did the monarchs used to derive their right from?
Oh well,
God.
their right to rule.
The
Yes.
monarchs were sovereigns, and they believed that they had the direct lineage from
Oh.
King David, and therefore they had been given the right of God to rule over their people.
Oh, monarchs
When we
did.
had, yes, because
Okay.
they believed they had been given the right from God to rule over the people. When
And
we
how did
had
they
the
enforce
Declaration-
that right
hold
to
on,
rule?
Don't interrupt. When we had the Declaration of Independence,
Mm-hmm.
right, we had 1776. That was a group of American founding fathers coming together and recognizing that they, in fact, were all given God-given rights. And it wasn't just the sovereign, that we were all sovereign,
this is all.
and that we were all given
This is
God-given
all
rights.
John Locke nonsense. Listen.
It's not
Well,
John
back it
Locke.
up. Well, back
This
it up.
is what
Yes, it is. It's
founded the American
enlightenment. Yes,
principles
the Enlightenment
and created the
principles.
middle class.
The Enlightenment principles
It
are
created
what
the middle
founded
class,
it.
okay?
Okay. Well, no, it didn't. But
Yeah,
anyway, the Enlightenment principles that you're talking about right now. They still acknowledge
Literally
that
did.
rights are social constructs. They have to be.
They're
and when
not.
you
That's
talk
how
about
you get your rights
when you
stripped
talk
from you
about
if you
a
believe
God
that ideology.
if your rights can be stripped on you, which is how you know the ideology I'm talking about is true.
If you can
They
convince
can't be
people,
real if they can be taken from you. You have a right to
How is
nothing.
this not more relativism?
What do you mean?
More
What do you mean by
relativism?
only men can
If you can
enforce
convince
rights?
people that
I'll
they
explain.
don't have any rights and it's all a social construct, you can strip them from them. You can
No.
convince them that
That's
they
what
don't have
hap-
rights.
yes,
But
but-
you, if people know that they have God-given rights and that their rights come from God,
then they can act as though they're real, and then they can enforce that.
they are real.
God did
not
not
real.
give us a right to vote,
They're made up.
unfortunately.
Our rights are real.
They're socially constructed. Can you point out a right for me real
So
quick?
how do you call
Hey, is there a
yourself
right over
Christian?
there? What about over there? Hey, is there a right down there? Is there a right? I don't see any. Where are they?
Do you not believe in the authority of God?
Yes, of course. God is an existent objective
Okay,
being.
so what did God tell Israel?
About which thing?
Okay, did he not give him authority? Did he not give the line of David
Yes,
authority?
you can
did
say.
he not give his
but,
children
but
authority?
who enforced?
He did.
Who enforced the authority of kings? Kings.
Okay, so the priests apparently are given rights from
Kings.
God, correct?
Yes, and they enforce their authority as well.
Okay, so
you always
how's
have an
that not a
enforcement
social
arm.
construct in your
Because
logic?
these are objectively given from a being. The construction of your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th amendments, all of them are social constructs. They don't exist in tangible reality. If they do, point one out. Show me. Show me your right to vote. Where is it? Absent your mind. Show it to me.
The one for quartering.
You
Show
can say that
me.
with anything.
Yeah, no,
is
well, you can say
physically-
about
We're
anything
talking
that
about
is a
the-
social
We're
construct.
talking about the spirit. So, of course, you're not going to be able to have something
Noah donated
physical when we're talking about the
$200.
spiritual.
That blonde is making a really good argument as to why women shouldn't
No
vote.
shit. But anyway,
wow.
back to this.
Can I ask a
Back to
clarifying
this.
question?
Hang on. Let us finish the argument. We're almost done.
I know. It's just,
We have.
It's ridiculous. No, you guys
Can you
want a
show
bunch
me,
of guys like him
absent the mind,
that don't
where your
believe in
rights
the
are?
Constitution to vote? Okay. Yeah, that's great.
The rights aren't a social construct. Can you point to one outside your mind?
The
Can you
quartering-
point to a right outside your
Can you
mind?
point to the
Don't
spirit
ask me a
outside of your
question.
mind?
Answer my question. Can you point to a right
Can you
outside your
physically
mind?
define the spirit?
That's another
Can you
question.
physically define
Stop
consciousness?
asking the question. Answer it.
No, because
No,
you're not.
because you can't.
No,
you can't answer
no,
it.
because
you,
you're not
you
the
imbecile.
one driving
Where
this
is a right
conversation.
absent your brain? Where is it?
Okay,
Define the consciousness.
Why can women not vote
See,
if they're
the
not the
funny thing
enforcers of
here
rights?
is-
I want to know that.
No, the funny thing here is this is what's
Remember-
debated
Oh my God.
when scientists are talking about AI. They're debating consciousness, and there are so many philosophers and people that debate consciousness all the time.
Yeah.
So you're asking me to define the spiritual and consciousness and put it into a physical state, which you know is impossible. So you're going with a false argument
Consciousness
here
are rights?
to try to prove a point that you're not even touching.
Consciousness are rights? Being conscious means that you have
Your
rights?
spirit and your soul.
Do people in
is where
Somalia who are conscious have rights?
So you don't
Where
believe
are
in
rights
spirit?
absent your brain?
Why can't
Where are
women
they?
vote? Why can't
Where
women
is
vote?
your right to vote absent your mind?
Where is your
Stop
argument
asking me a
absent your
question
mind?
and answer one.
Where is your argument absent
I'll
your
tell you what, I'll
mind?
answer any fucking question you want after you answer this one.
Where is your argument outside of your subconscious? outside of your
all of my
conscious?
arguments are based in the epistemological. The epistemology and the ontology that I have comes directly from God and divine command.
Really?
This answers, yes, and yours
And
too.
I said,
and all
I
Christians.
believe my rights are God-given.
That's great.
So why are you? Why
and
are
that's
yours
what
and
we're
mine
talking about. Now, I just answered your question. Now, answer mine. Where is this right to vote absent your brain?
Where's your argument?
Yeah, I
absent your brain?
just won't answer it, no matter what.
Wait, can you answer his question though?
No, she can't. She knows. She already knows. It's a
My
fail.
rights
Where's your
absent
right
my
to
brain?
vote absent your brain?
I've been saying this whole time, my rights are God-given.
Your right to vote comes from
So-
God?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. My right,
Wait, hold
my
on.
right does
We
come
have
from
a
God.
$200.
Andrew's got to go
My
take
right to
a
have an
Hold on,
opinion
hold on,
is
hold on.
what government does.
Expired.
My right to vote comes from God.
That's right.
Franchisees doing bankrupt corporations. Your substantial rights are what you should focus on.
Yeah, go have a smoke.